Alright, Shalom Akim. I'd like to say Kal Halayim, Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem, Rakah Kodash. Right, double honors the apostles. And elders of great millstone that rule well. Peace and salutation to the Akim around the world that push us through to the four corners of the earth. Alright. I said I go through a few precepts. Are entitled, the church represents, the body of men. Okay, some people actually think that the church, when I talk about the church in the scriptures, it represents like an actual building, which is not so. I'll go through about two precepts to show that, but so the Acts 7 verse 48, right? It say, howbeit the Most High dwelleth not in temples made with hands, saith the prophets, right? It say, heaven is his throne, and earth is his footstool. It say, what house will ye build me, saith the Lord, or what is the place of my rest? Right? Because the dwelling place of the Most High is actually in his men. Right? And there are many scriptures that actually show you these things like this, right? It's 1 Corinthians 3 verse 16. It's saying, know ye not that ye are the temple of power, and that the spirit of power dwelleth in you. You understand? It says, if any man defile the temple of power, him shall power destroy, for the temple of power is holy, which temple ye are. You understand? But really and truly, the church itself, as to talk about, like for example, I'll bring it Ephesians 5. Ephesians 5 and 7:22, right? It say, wives, submit yourselves unto your own husbands as unto the Lord. Because there's actually a law. Women supposed to obey the husbands just like the word obey the Most High. You understand? Because it's the Most High's law that says that they're supposed to obey the husband. And when they don't obey the husband, that is actually a sin. And that is what this system is actually teach them. To point the hand in the husband's face and say, you ain't shit, nigga. You understand? That is what the system is actually, that is the mindset the system had them in. Not knowing that they actually committing sin by doing these things. Right, but let's go down. It say, verse 23, it say, for the husband is the head of the wife, even as Mashiach is the head of the church. You understand? So, what I mean by Mashiach is the head of the church. Who the church represent? Let's go to 1 Corinthians 11. 1 Corinthians 11, verse 3, right? It say, but I would have you know that the head of every man is Mashiach. You understand? It say what? It say Mashiach is the head of the church, which represent what? The body of men. Because when it had gatherings back in ancient times, you understand, what like even the men would congregate and so forth, it would usually be men. It wouldn't be a mixture of all the men and all the women. It would have times that the women would come out, you understand, for certain occasions. But if they did, they were supposed to remain silent. As we talk about in 1 Corinthians, I believe it's 14. You understand? They wasn't even supposed to have any kind of say or voice in the group itself, because it represents is for what? The men, the authorities. You understand? The body of men is what the church is represented as. You understand? Women would usually stay home, and they will be taught home by the husbands. Or if it had any occasion where they actually had to come within the group, the gathering of men, they were supposed to remain silent. They didn't have a voice in particular things like that. And I will see in the situation with Aaron and Miriam, when there was debating against Moses about having I think it was a Egyptian or Ethiopian wife. I don't remember exactly which one it was. But the Most High did smite Miriam with leprosy. You understand? Even though Miriam and Aaron had a problem with it, and they was debating, they was expressing the issues about it. Miriam is the one that he smite with leprosy, because that is not she placed to intervene in those things. That is affairs of men. You understand? She not on their level when it comes to those things. Right? I'll read it over. It say 1 Corinthians 11:3. It say, but I would have you know that the head of every man is Mashiach, and the head of the woman is the man. You understand? And the head of Mashiach is Yahweh, which is the Most High's name in Hebrew. Right? No, so it's showing the ordinance, which is the Most High's son, then men, then women, right? And that's an ordinance for a reason. So there's Jeremiah, there's Jeremiah 3. I read next scripture, Jeremiah 3, I think it's 14. It say Jeremiah 3:14, it say, turn, O backsliding children, say the Lord, for I am married unto you. And who is the Most High married unto? The men. You understand? Through Mashiach, he married unto the men. That is why the scriptures refer to Mashiach as the bridegroom, and the men is the bridesmaid spiritually. You understand? Because the Most High married unto us through Mashiach. And that is who the church represent, the men. Right? Say, for I'm married unto you. Let's go back in it's Ephesians 5, I think it was 23 I reach. Right? It say, for the husband is the head of the wife, even as Mashiach is the head of the church. Because they are the wife of the man, and the man spiritually is the wife of Mashiach, which is our head. You understand? So when they talk about even as Mashiach is the head of the church, it represents what? The men, which we just read in 1 Corinthians 11. So the head of every man is Mashiach. Right? It say, and he is the savior of the body. It say, therefore, as the church is subject unto Mashiach, the church represents what? The body of men is subject unto Mashiach, so let the wives be to their own husbands in everything. Because as spiritually as the Lord is our husband, we subjected unto him. You understand? We had to do what he says, how he say it. And the same thing a wife's supposed to be towards her husband. You understand? She's not supposed to pick and choose, well, I like this and I don't like that, so I might do this, but this, we have a problem with this. No, it's the same way we had to be with Mashiach. You understand? Whether we like it or we don't like it, we know that is how things had to be. And if we don't do it, it'll have penalties in place. You understand? But the point I'm trying to make is that the church represents what? Mashiach. Sorry, Salakia. The church represents the body of men. You understand? Who is under Mashiach. Salakia, Baba question about that. Right? The church represents the body of men that is under Mashiach. I think that is what, 18:20. Matthew 18 verse 20, it says, for where 2 or 3 are gathered together in my name, it said, there I am in the midst of them. You understand? The gathering of the men. Not how to teach you about how to teach you about how to teach you about all these buildings and so forth. You understand? It's not about buildings. Because when they used to gather back in the ancient times, it didn't have to be in a building. Sometimes they used to gather in an open place, but that would still be classed as what? Church. You understand? That was the gathering. I don't think I pulled up the etymology of it yet. I was supposed to do that at start, but I forgot. Salakia, you have a question about that? Right? The church. Right? Church. Now see, they put 2 definitions. The one in 24 apparently is different from the one in 20. With the next one in 25. Apparently different from the next one in 25. Yeah, it is different from the next one in 25. I read the one in 25 first, right? One in 25.
Strong's G 5547. Christos.
Which represents what? Right? It represents anointed. Right? Right? This one represents what? Is it correcting? I press the wrong thing. Salakia. It is the right thing I press. Salakia. Before it is the right thing I press. Salakia about that. right? Church is a gathering of citizens called out from their homes into some public place and assembly. You understand? And like I say, this was usually done by what? The men. The men is the ones who would gather and consult and do certain things. You understand? And if it had any occasion where women would go, they would remain silent. They didn't have any voice in the church. Like you'll see in these modern day gatherings in these buildings that is called churches, and women is be twerking and singing and all of these different things and even preaching. It's not supposed to be like that. You understand? Majority of the times they wouldn't even go. And if they did go, it had some occasion where they'd go, they would remain quiet. You understand? It's to the assembly of the Israelites. It's to any gathering throng of men assembling by chance, right? It's a gathering of men. Like I say, it was usually men. It would have situations where women would go, probably, but if they went, they would have to stay quiet. It's any gathering or throng of men assembling by chance. It's tumultuously, right? It's in a Christian sense, an assembly of Christians. As they say Christians, we know the Hebrew term for it is Mashiach, gathering for worship in a religious meeting. You understand? And I'd say upwards, it was usually done by what? Men. Right? So they talk about the church. You understand? They're not talking about an actual physical building. You understand? You see, as a church is subject unto Mashiach. It doesn't mean the building itself subjected unto him. It's the same thing like with New Jerusalem. You understand? Being adorned as a bride. It isn't talking about actual buildings. It's talking about men. Scriptures say that in Revelations. That is Revelations 21 verse 3, I believe. It say, and I heard a great voice out of the heavens saying, behold, the tabernacle of Yahweh, which is the Most High's name in Hebrew, is with men, and he will dwell with them, and they shall be his people, and Yahweh, right, himself shall be with them and be their power. Right? So the scriptures, when you go back to the etymology of these things which people don't do, you actually see what these things mean. Right, I'll read one more, which is 1 Corinthians 14, that I was talking about. Right, say 1 Corinthians 14, I'll start from 34, right? It say, let your women keep silent in the churches. You understand? So if they actually went in one of the gatherings of men, they were supposed to remain silent. They weren't supposed to have a voice. You know, if it had a debate going on, you would ask all the women on their side what they think of it. And that way you'll see, even back in the days, women weren't even allowed to vote. They never had these kind of rights. You understand? Because those things are not their affairs. These things were given to them under this system by Esau. You understand? Right, so let your women remain silent in the churches, for it is not permitted unto them to speak. But they are commanded to be under obedience, also say the law, which is what we read in Ephesians. It says the wife supposed to be subject unto the husband, supposed to be obedient, which is something the system doesn't teach them. It actually teach them against that. It says verse 35, it says, and if they will learn anything, let them ask their husbands at home. It says, for it is a shame for a woman to speak in the church. Why? Because, like I say, the gathering is not for them. You understand? It come like when you take your child to take your child to work day. You understand? They're supposed to remain quiet. None of those running around the office and making a sudden noise. It embarrass you. You understand? Originally, women were taught to be seen and not heard. These days, see, Esau doesn't teach them that. Esau does teach them that the mouth is a strength. As I like to ask, I say, where in the scriptures you see that? They can't answer. You understand? But the mouth is a strength. But originally, they're supposed to be seen and not heard. Not have this loud black woman attitude that the system programmed them to be. Originally, this is how they were supposed to be, silent. Especially when it comes to the gatherings. You see, and if they will learn anything, let them ask their husbands at home, for it is a shame for a woman to speak in the church. You understand? So I think I'll end it with that. Just a few precepts talking about the church itself. Some people just feel like the church represents even the men and the women. But no, the church is a reference to the body of men, the gathering of men. You understand? The women just be referred to as separate from that. even though they might be in the gathering, sometimes the gathering refers to what the body of men. And that is what it was referring to also in Ephesians 5. You see, as Mashiach loved the church, which is his wife, is so a husband supposed to love his actual wife. You understand? Anyway, I hope it was edifying to anybody that listened. With that, I'd like to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem Rakakwadash, double honors to the apostles and elders of great millstone that rule well. Peace and salutation to the Akim around the world that push this truth and sincerity. There's Yaraba from EGMS Trinidad East Camp saying Shalom, Akim, stay strong.